Well, it looks like Xbox just shed some insight on their outlook for reviving classic games, especially from the Activision Blizzard catalog. But let's break this all down. Up next. What up guys, this is Kalo and I'm here to give you the lowdown on all things gaming. And if you're new here, feel free to subscribe to this channel for weekly video game news content, drop a like on the video, and welcome to the Level Up. So, a little housekeeping on a story we covered on Friday was Xbox going third party. And I wanted to just insert this little chunk of news before we got into the good stuff, seeing how Phil Spencer is at the center of all this news. Phil Spencer was asked about CFO Tim Stewart's comments about Xbox going third party, and this is what he had to say. Quote, "I'll start by saying we have no plans to bring Game Pass to PlayStation or Nintendo. It's not in our plans. But I think you hit on the right point of what it means to own an Xbox. The thing I want to be focused on is how we do continue to innovate for people who've made the commitment to our hardware platform. And how do we continue to make sure they feel great about their investment in what we've built? So there you have it. At least for now, it's a no to PlayStation and Nintendo to get Xbox Game Pass right from Phil Spencer. Now that we got that out of the way, let's get into the fun stuff. Now that Xbox is the sole owner of the massive Activision Blizzard brain trust, the big focus has been on Call of Duty. I do agree the big part of all this is the unrivaled success of Call of Duty as a franchise, but I also feel other titles that exist under this rather large umbrella aren't getting the spotlight they so greatly deserve. For the better part of what seems like forever, we've been just sitting here waiting for the Activision Blizzard deal to finally go through. And I was very adamant that Xbox could funnel some of their resources to other franchises like Crash Bandicoot and like Spyro, and give them the TLC they deserve. Well, it looks like Phil Spencer recently shed some light on this very prospect, and I gotta say, I'm very excited about all this. Phil was talking about the classic Game Pass business model and how it offers teams the chance to create a very diverse catalog of games. Some of the games he pointed out that I think are great examples of proper execution of this included Pentiment, Hi-Fi Rush, and Grounded. To his own words, these are games that all found great success under the Game Pass umbrella. So in doing so, if a team wants to wake up one day and choose to just create another Spyro, Crash, or even StarCraft, they can. This is because Game Pass relieves the pressure of having to release this massive AAA experience. Game Pass, in my humble opinion, really takes away some of that risk, so to speak, because consumers can come into this untapped franchise without really viewing it as money wasted, even if they didn't like the game. And speaking to this personally, a game like Hi-Fi Rush was a game I tend to stay away from, just because it really didn't appeal to me right up front. So one day I was just kind of bored and figured I'd give it a shot, since it was just kind of sitting there on Game Pass, and boom, they got me hook, line, and sinker. Now, I think it's no secret fans of the older Activision Blizzard days do miss that very diverse catalog of games, since nowadays they really only focus on Call of Duty. Now, keeping all that in mind, Phil Spencer gave me a little early Christmas gift here, seeing how he actually name-dropped one of these older franchises. Quote, "You've seen from our history that we haven't touched every franchise that people love us to touch. Banjo fans, I hear you. But it is true that when we find the right team and the right opportunity, I love going back to revisit stories and characters that we've seen previously. I want our fans and customers to know I don't bring up games just to tease to no end. If people have watched how we tease things in the past, there's usually some kind of reconciliation of those hints later on. I'm not one to try to lead people on. It might not happen on the timeline that people would love, but usually when I tease, there's something there." Phil, now you're talking my language. In my opinion, this is a very cheeky little statement to make, especially within this context. Now, is this 100% a bona fide Banjo tease? I don't really think so. While I'm a massive fan of that franchise and would love to see it come back in the limelight, I'm not too sure that's gonna happen, at least as of right now. but it's nice to see at least here that the fans are being heard. For years, Phil Spencer has had a proven track record of teasing projects and games, and this is all through various means of the t-shirts he wears on stage, and things in the background of his office and so on. And in this case right here, he is name dropping something, so that's kind of something you gotta keep in the back of your mind, at least in the meantime. But with all that being said, I'm gonna pass this question off to you guys. What are some games that you would like to see come back under Xbox? You guys know it at this point. Sign me up for another Crash Bandicoot or even Spyro. But that about does it here. I've been KLO. I gave you the lowdown on all things gaming. And if you're new here, feel free to subscribe to this channel for weekly video game news content. Drop a like on the video, and this has been the Level Up.